student corner of the official YouTube channel of the Delhi School of Communication. This is our first properly shot video and we would love it if you could support us in this journey that we have embarked upon. And we will be coming back with more such videos in the coming days from this student corner. Now I would like to get going with our show. So guys, and Saran ma'am. So, any idea why we are here today?
Should we hear for the roundtable conference?
Exactly. So my first question, let's get back to the beginning of our journeys, careers. So from where did this fascination for marketing stem from? Any particular incident and how did it increase over time, if at all? Also, any oops moment, any anecdotal story, anything that you want to share with us?
Okay, so I think I'll start. Marketing as a skill was never my cup of tea, but the situation and the environment ultimately made me landed up into a first sales job of mine. Did it for good 2 decades, and
That's a long story.
yes.
We are that old.
And then for the last about what's your half ages, I was there teaching and mentoring students like you. And now I can proudly say that it is there in my blood. So marketing and sales is now in my blood, and I'm fully beju.
I think the great thing about this process is that the smallest of the company, the smallest of the units can be heard, can be seen, can disrupt and can be noticed if you understand the process of marketing fully. I think so many businesses we come across every day struggling because they do not understand this process of marketing. So I think it's, I don't want to sound too lofty, but I think it's really like the voice to the voiceless. And I think that's my fascination. कि आपके पास ज़्यादा पैसे नहीं है, फिर भी what you lack in finances you can make do in your creativity and with your ideation, and then get your product or your brand noticed. So I think that's what I find so powerful about this process.
Similar to me, when I think back now, जब बचपन में हम लोग देखते थे कैंपेन्स वगैरह, तो हमें बहुत फैसिनेटिंग लगता था. जैसे मैं अभी थोड़ी देर पहले बात कर रही थी कि मैगी ने अपने आप को बहुत ज़्यादा मार्केट किया था बचपन में, और वो चीज़ मैं अब रियलाइज करती हूँ कि ओ शिट, इन्होंने यहाँ अपने आप को करा है.
लकीली तुम्हारे स्कूल में आता था मैगी वाला, हमारे में वो वाला कैंपेन नहीं.
So just for the background of it, we are from the north part of India, we three of us, and she is from Maharashtra.
She is from the east part. Dude.
Okay, we all three are from the east. We can say that. So in our region, marketing was not that.
But
it was not.
Maggi is natural.
But it was not on our face. It was not like take this.
Right.
But as far as I have seen, maybe, but for us it wasn't. It was there, but it was very subtly there. It wasn't it was not very aggressive back in the time. But for people like Mumbai, coming from Mumbai or coming from Kolkata, they were more exposed to it. They were they were able to recognize it very more than us. More than us.
तो अब तुम्हें रियलाइज होता है कि तुम शिकार नहीं
चीटोस अपने आप को टॉयज देख के सेल कर रहा है, हम 40 रुपए का पैकेट खरीद रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें वो टॉय चाहिए. Kinder Joy. Cheetos also did that small toy thing, whatever.
Not only that, even while we have understood marketing, we see people and we see, hi, this is the person who is being.
Why are you all forgetting? You used to go to McDonald's just to get that.
Yeah, happy meal. Like I used to cry on the floor and get a happy meal.
यार मेरे सिटी में हैप्पी मील मतलब मिलती नहीं है.
Even today. So for me, it was more like.
McD.
And we are not really mad about any brand. Let's do a disclaimer.
So for me, marketing was it came to me more than I pursued it. So I was not that very keen मेरे को करना है कुछ कि हाँ ठीक है कर लेंगे. But धीरे I realized कि इसमें मजा.
Right.
It is the right word.
मजा.
So जब तक मजा आता है, that's great ना. अगर आपको 30 साल तक अगले 20 या 30 साल तक आपको बेड से उठना है और you have to be happy about and excited about getting out of your bed and going and giving it your best. Otherwise, you won't do it. Yeah. Okay.
Adding to it, I'm on my 34th year.
ही पैसा
पैसा
होगा.
तो पैसा.
How important do you think the role of messaging in your life, be it a brand from a brand perspective or in personal life or in professional life, how important is it? And what essentially talks about like the recall value of message?
I remember one ad messaging का, वो कौन सा ad था जिसमें गाना गाया हम लोगों ने?
To remember you, I remember the ad.
चलता रहे तेरा मेरा hero ad. Oh my god, that was so amazing. Like
देश की धड़कन.
देश की वो लाइक अमेजिंग एड. मैं वो रिपीटेटिवली यूट्यूब पे देखती थी वो एड. मुझे पता नहीं क्यों बहुत फैसिनेटिंग लगता था. द सीनिक व्यू, द सॉन्ग, एवरीथिंग. इट वाज मोर लाइक अ म्यूजिकल वीडियो टू मी रादर देन एन एड. और उसकी वजह से मुझे इतना ज़्यादा वो इम्पैक्टफुल लगा था. मतलब काफ़ी अच्छी, मतलब द वे ऑफ एडवर्टाइजिंग एक्चुअली चेंज्ड ओवर देयर. बिकॉज उससे पहले मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई गाना पूरा म्यूजिकल यूज करता था.
म्यूजिकल बेस
हाँ,
वाला एडवर्टाइजमेंट.
तो मुझे लगता है वहाँ पे कुछ अलग सी टाइप की एडवर्टाइजिंग और अलग टाइप की मैसेजिंग यूज की गई थी, which fascinated.
You could have brands which is like you incorporated those messages as literally like a almost like a mantra, like कि थोड़ा like डर के आगे जीता है. Like किसी भी situation में तुम कुछ भी हो, तुम किसी को भी motivate कर रहे हो, तुम बोलो यार डर के आगे जीता है. Like you know, so it's become a part of your life, and I think that's the power of
Messaging.
effective messaging.
We are talking about messaging, we are talking about the journeys we have had. So, in all this time, how important do you think communication is? Like, is it underrated? Like, any insights on that if it's underrated?
Say that I'll combine the question about messaging and I'll bring that perspective again. I feel that one of the very important mantras of my life, which I've only recently understood and learned, is that you are the quality of your emotions, and the quality of your emotions is determined by the quality of your words. So if you say that like I'm dying to do this, then the energy that you're letting out is to the universe, is that the messages that you're letting out, you'll get what you want, but you're also dying in the process, and that kind of energy will come back to you. Or if you say I am angry, then you're becoming that emotion. Or I am sad, then you're becoming that emotion. So if you say I feel sad, then you're creating a distance between that emotion and that word. So words, whether we realize it or not, play a very, very powerful, have a very powerful impact on how we feel, and that determines the quality of our life. So I think therefore we need to be very careful about it. So communication is much more deep-seated than people. It's not the sender-receiver. It's much, it runs much deeper than what we give it credit for.
Agreeing to with ma'am कि words का कितना importance होता है. So die for you and would you live for me. So these two are almost giving the same intention, but the words change a lot of things.
Right. The energy changes,
Yeah.
and therefore when the energy changes, the mindset changes, and then you approach things very differently. So yeah. So I think that's
I also have a story.
yes.
So I used to play cricket back in the day, and my coach always used to say कि you never use negative words. You say कि हम हारे नहीं हैं, हम बस जीत रहे हैं. So that's how he used to put it in front of me. So that's how I always like try to put things out कि जीत नहीं पाया और हार गए में क्या अंतर होता है.
Right.
So
अभी हम चलते हैं जरा पिछले महीने की ब्रांडिंग की क्लास में. तो वहाँ पे मैंने क्या बोला था?
the same चीज बोला था. Tension से.
Negative words.
No negative words, no negative associations.
Yes,
It's only the positive associations that bring your consumer to you.
And so, like, since all of you are in this space, especially you guys, like even me, like you have just entered into the industry, right? Like with our internships and all. How important do you think is building relationships? Like not only in the industry or where you're working, but even in college, in personal lives. How
I think I want to add to that question because increasingly we are finding that when we interview students or when we connect with a lot of young minds, we find that वो college में है, but they are kind of liking each other's posts on Instagram, but they don't connect with each other in college. So coming from a different space zone, I think we can't understand that at all. You are like spending 3 years of your life in one college or in one class and you're not connecting with each other at all. You're like it's like उसने मेरा post like किया तो मैंने उसका post like कर दिया, and that's the kind of connectivities you have. I just really, I want to know that how do you see building of relationships?
Actually, ma'am, we are now more corporate minded. I think according to me, मैं बहुत ज़्यादा corporate mind हो गई हूँ. तो मुझे लगता है कि it may be negative on my part, but it's more like कि मुझे corporate में लगता है that I have to build relationship with them because I have to like stay here and I have to learn. more like कि दो दोस्त हो गए काफी है, ड्रामा कम है. तो मेरी लाइफ में वो हो रहा है कि मतलब पर्सनल लाइफ में I'm more like an individual person where I'm happy with 2 or 3 friends that I have. But in corporate I have a different mindset कि जितने ज़्यादा relationship बना सकूँ उतना ज़्यादा better होगा मेरी growth के लिए. मतलब मैं बहुत ज़्यादा selfish बोल सकती हूँ कि मैं वहाँ जाके बहुत ज़्यादा selfish हो जाती हूँ.
But at the end of the day, you know, Shrishta, everybody has those 2-3 friends.
Yeah, exactly.
And you are three
Yeah.
people, you are blessed.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not how close you are to people. Relationship
Yeah,
building is
yeah,
more like. I realized this in my post when I came to DSC. I realized this ki it's not only about how close you are to a person. It's like when you call out to them, will they respond back?
Yeah,
Correct.
Will-
What is more difficult, like asking the right questions or finding the right answer? Like especially since both of you have been in the teaching arena for a long time now.
So I think it is the importance of a good question is definitely, I mean, there's no denying the importance of a good question. I think giving the right answers have also kind of changed because of the landscape, especially with the onset of technology. So like अभी कोई आपसे पूछेगा कि आपको शादी के लिए पार्टनर ढूंढना है तो आप कहाँ जाओगे, तो आप बोलोगे अच्छा डेटिंग ऐप है या शादी.com है. अब कल को हो सकता है कि तुम AI के किसी वर्चुअल मीट पे हो और किसी अवतार के साथ
Metaverse में शादी हो रही है.
So then the answer would have also changed. Where can you find who to find? So but yeah, I mean definitely asking the right questions. So I think
Asking the right question is something which is far more important. Like remember it up, if we remember it in our marketing research class itself, you have a certain thought and you are looking for a certain kind of a response from your audience, right? But if you're not framing the right questions, it's not the fault of the consumer, right? It is always your fault that you're not asking the right thing. Or if you want to reach to a certain situation, probably you want to take your business to a certain level, and you are not having the right kind of a question in your mind, you'll never be able to create the right business objective, right? Taking it back to what Shrishta said it up, like Heroes Desh Ki Dhadkan is about 20-year-old campaign. But probably if you look at the background of it, that's what you're saying is asking the right question was because there was a split which happened between Hero and Honda, and Honda always became the larger organization than the perception of the people. Hero said, let me now create my position, right? Let me be the Indian company, right? And that's how they did it. So it all started up with the right question in the right minds. So that's how it's going to be. So if you ask the right question, the right answer is going to be over there, right? So you don't have to worry on it.
so you guys play a very critical role.
Yes.
in asking the right
Right?
questions.
And probably our businesses who are more traditional businesses, you are more into modern business, right? Which is more dynamic and all that. That's why the modern concepts of research and all that are more prevalent and more there in your business. So when you're working in your companies and you're working with brands, it is not that you immediately start. You throw millions and millions of questions to them.
Yeah.
Then only the answers comes, right? So throwing the right question, framing the right thing is the most important.
When I started and I was interning after college in Star, so one of the first things that they told me to do was call up. They give me a list of numbers and they said call up all the housewives in Mumbai, and I mean they gave me a whole comprehensive list and say ki, why do you watch these serials? Just ask them this kind of question once you start a conversation with them. And again I'd ask आप क्यों देखते हो, क्यों सेल्स हो औरत देखते हो, क्योंकि सास भी कभी मूवी देखते हैं, etc. One of the ladies actually said, oh, because it's tragedy, because it's tragic, because I want to see people cry on screen. Because so just because of that kind of calling on
Sister is like this. She loves to watch the tragedy.
Yeah, people crying.
Okay, you have something in common with the outside of Mumbai. But you are from Mumbai.
वहाँ के लोगों को आसपास ट्रेजेडी दिख रही है तो कह रहे टीवी पे भी क्यों नहीं देख रहे? Why to miss it?
So it was interesting, for the channel, like it threw up a lot of insights. So I think definitely, and it जरूरी नहीं कि highest level पे हो, lowest level पे भी तुम करोगे तो तुमको you will reach some kind of insight, some kind of clarity.
There is always also adding to what you're saying, which is right to a very large extent. See, what happens is we have a lot of things happening in our life when we don't have answers to those, right? Probably when a situation is there on screen or which is not there in person to you, and you probably see them. So in the subconscious mind, you are actually looking for a solution.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it comes to you fully or partially. So if it's coming to you,
Insights.
then you connect.
And you pick that up.
Yes. Then we start connecting to that particular thought.
28 years.
35.
24.
It's very confusing when people are sending me like smile emoji. For me, it's like, ki, are you like sad with me? Did I do anything? And that person like, नहीं सब सही है. मैं कहा नहीं, अभी सही नहीं है. तुमने गलत
Sending
emoji
mixed signals.
Yeah,
ये ज़्यादा tragedy दिखा रहा है. कम करो उसकी tragedy.
And it's not only about that, sir, but WhatsApp is also a little invasive, not little, very invasive. मतलब आप कुछ कर रहे हो, उसके बीच में किसी और का मैसेज आ गया, उसके किसी और का मैसेज आ गया, आपका फ्लो ऑफ थॉट टूट गया, फिर आप उस पे कंसंट्रेट करोगे, उस पे अपना टाइम वेस्ट कर देते हो, that time to come back to that, you forgotten what. So you in that multitasking, whether we like it or not, we are at the receiving end of that, and we are losing a lot of focus, a lot of mindfulness, a lot of concentration doing that thing.
Like, I would like to know what your opinions are on the motion data speaks louder than words.
Numbers are always rational, words are always emotions. Emotions need to have quantifiable understanding. I would say that all 6 of us are very intelligent people, right? But if probably for a 7th person out to be there and needs to be pick up one, you probably need a number to say that on a benchmark of X vis-a-vis an X geographical location in terms of intelligence, where does each person stand? So that he can pick his one, right? So that needs to have a number involved.
So like you've been asking and answering questions for a long time now. So I'll just do a quick rapid fire, okay? So I'll ask you 2 words per person. And rapid fire is where you have to like pitch the word which comes to your mind first.
Or I can say the people who are handling the camera are also women. So I can either give you some facts and then so I think it helps you elevate your communication, of course. I mean, anything that is factually backed is going to make for very powerful communication, without doubt.
मतलब अगर एक कंज्यूमर है तो उसको बोलने का मे बी आई एम राइट और कि एक कंज्यूमर प्रोफाइल अगर आप बना रहे हो तो आपको ये जानने की जरूरत नहीं है कि वहाँ 100 लोग रहते हैं या 200 लोग रहते हैं. आपको ये जानने की जरूरत है कि वो लोगों की साइकोग्राफिक क्या है या वो लोग इमोशनली कितना कनेक्ट कर पाएंगे. अगर वो 2 लोग भी कर पा रहे हैं दैट्स इनफ.
So like you've been asking and answering questions for a long time now. So I'll just do a quick rapid fire, okay? So I'll ask you 2 words per person. And rapid fire is where you have to like pitch the word which comes to your mind first. Okay, so sir, I'll be doing. So AI.
Technology,
2 words.
machine learning,
कुछ अच्छा बोलिए.
a lot of job opportunities.
Words sentence नहीं बोलना.
मैं बोल दूँ
हाँ.
radical.
Something like
Matrix or something like that.
think anyway. White.
Peace.
हाँ sir.
Dew. Dew.
Dew.
Like
DEW.
oh calming.
I would say mountain.
हाँ मैं भी बोलूँगी
Yeah.
This is the problem.
white बोली मैं कहती बिरला white पुट्टी.
Now next word brand.
Life.
Shrestha, you. Circle.
Circle. कुछ नहीं circle.
Relationship.
ना सोच के नहीं
Ads.
बोलना.
यार
It's okay. Ads.
ads. वही हीरो वाला ad.
Short film.
Short.
Okay. Saket. Marcom.
DSC.
Branded.
Logo.
Logo. Log. I don't know.
Oh my
just
god. Are you
That's
proud
an
of
interesting insight.
Cut this part.
बताइए.
Data.
Data, very hard. It's very hard.
Snacks.
I love it.
I would say alcohol.
पापा देख रहे हैं रितिका पापा देख रहे हैं.
Yeah, cutting this part out. This is not going.
It
Anyway.
might.
Okay. So my
next question is, as marketers, like you're often asked to create a disruption in the industry, like bring about a radical change. So what, according to you, are like one change that should happen, is waiting to happen?
Marketing.
I'll be very unpopular on Tuesday. Say it. So I think there's this huge run, right, to become a unicorn, hexacorn, this corn, that corn, and I feel that we've all I think been accustomed to. I mean, we've seen brands that were doing phenomenally well, and now they're no longer in existence. So I think like building relationships and like building when you plant a seed, it takes time, right, for it to blossom into a flower and then a tree and etc. And a baby is not born in a month. So I think the same way, companies are running too fast and doing too much and burning out, and then here today, gone tomorrow. So I think if you're looking at building an organization, I truly believe that it takes time to create something which is built to last. And if you want to create anything in life which is built to last, it's going to take time. But it may not be the most popular answer.
I think I agree with you, ma'am, because they're reaching the top very soon and they're dropping at the same rate.
Pace. Yeah, exactly. In marketing right now there's a concept of omnipresent, right? And it's like every industry now wants to be omnipresent, but I think it's not required. Like one industry, if they know कि omnipresent में वो लोग काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो एक specific niche को करके काम कर सकते हैं, वो लोग करना चाहिए. But in the race of being omnipresent, now every company is like participating in that competition. I think that part of marketing is not suitable for everybody.
What is the change that's waiting to happen?
Yeah.
The change I think that's waiting to happen is like people would be more aware of what they're doing. Like not only socially but also on the internet, not only on the internet but also in the real life present. They would be more aware, they would be more conscious of what they're doing and how they're doing. The good part of marketing is that whatever, like you mentioned in the beginning, you're marketing yourself more consciously now on social media platforms. You're doing this now more consciously, and like you, a lot of people are already doing it, and a lot of people in the coming generation will be doing it for a very long time now, and they'll keep doing it. So they'll be more conscious towards what they're putting out to the social media. They'll be more conscious of how they're presenting it themselves to the world. So I think it will make the world a better place. So I think that's the change I'm looking forward to, that people becoming more conscious about how they put themselves to the world, especially in India, because people in India, they need that a lot, how they put themselves, because most of us in the metro cities and in the growing cities know that, but people in the lower cities, which are majority in India, they don't know how to present themselves to others. Maybe they do, but most of us, like the majority or the number of the people who don't know how to present themselves is very large. So I think that will be happening very soon now.
If you want to ask a change, like potential, I will go back to the question of potential of marketing. I think that marketing should not be a subject that is taught to students after 12th and they explore the field on their own. But marketing as a curriculum should be included in the school students also, because सबके लिए necessary है marketing.
But it's taught only in a limited fashion. Like अगर आप mass communication भी देखो, तो भी colleges do not teach, right? It's only when you're doing marcom or you're doing something brand management या BBA करो या MBA करो तब आपको पढ़ाया जाता है. So वो mass communication colleges भी नहीं करते.
वही तो मतलब मुझे लगता है कि marketing को ऐसा फील्ड है, क्योंकि सबके लिए चाहिए marketing. ऐसा मुझे नहीं लगता कोई इंडिविजुअल है जिसको मार्केटिंग की ज़रूरत नहीं है. इधर वो खुद यूज़ कर रहा है या वो कहीं और से ले रहा है. तो आई थिंक कि मार्केटिंग एज अ सब्जेक्ट इन द पोटेंशियल इंडस्ट्री दे शुड बी लाइक एडेड टू द बेसिक करिकुलम ऑफ अ स्टूडेंट. लाइक साइंस फिजिक्स पढ़ा रहे हो तो थोड़ी सी मार्केटिंग भी पढ़ाते हो.
That on the future of marketing, I think we have a guest appearance now on the show. I'd like to invite you all to Shri ma'am.
Hello
Amanda and teacher.
Hello everyone.
She has put forward on the future of marketing. So, ma'am.
No, future and it's currently happening also. What I want to focus on is there's a lot of greenwashing happening. You know? Brands are trying, because of the global warming and all that, brands are trying to show that they are sustainable. And they are aware of green consciousness. But and people were caught for that because they were greenwashing means you're not actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that needs to be reworked on, so that brands could also appear, in their right character.
So brands actually do what they promise that they're doing.
I agree with you, man, because the other day I was updating my Windows laptop and right beside that it says Windows is making world towards a greener world or clean energy. I was wondering how that is possible. Like updating my Windows laptop is how is that going to make a better world for green energy and everything. I was very confused. Like how it's very confusing basically. So.
No, actually,
But-
all of my brands that I'm working on right now as clients, I won't take their names, but they all have one thing in common, that they all are promoting green environment, green hydrogen, climate change, talking about heat waves, heat strokes. So that green hydrogen and like basically green consciousness is something that is coming upfront as a new marketing
The
method.
thing is that the thing is, because you said about a client, again I also have a client, but the thing is, the main topic of discussion right now is sustainable.
Sustainable.
So the people are very aware about it, and everybody know that we need to do something for
Maybe
our
not
future.
now.
It's more
So
like
that's the reason brand or technology or any new updates, because I have seen that there are amazing technologies coming for a sustainable world.
Yeah.
it's more like a
So that's the
compulsion now
reason.
for a
That's
brand
the
to
reason.
promote.
I think
brands
that's a
are
good thing.
working.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
It's very like people are, as I said, people are more conscious about how they use the resources, how they utilize the resources nowadays. Because it's an important part. We have only one earth and we have to survive on this one world.
Well, if Elon Musk had it there, it's something.
I wish not. I wish that day doesn't come.
Nobody asked him that,
To
you
be
know,
very
how
honest.
you.
It's coming on, it's coming.
I wish that day doesn't. But I want to live on earth. Man. There's a lot to see on earth. I don't
will
want
not
to.
leave Earth. That I can promise. For the time
I
being,
don't
you
want to
are
work
on
place
Earth.
like Interstellar.
Okay, I just want to say that since you all have been talking about big macro thoughts which are there on the future of marketing, I would just still like to say that see, today again the businesses are there with 70% of small players, right? The future of marketing is probably you do your job right, you connect with the consumers right, you will never let in your industry, your sector, a monopoly which is there, right? So to probably break this monopolistic aspect, do your marketing right. That's what the ultimately crux of a smaller role is.
Goes back to the
I think that is you're just joining the point because ma'am also said that the people, brands are reaching the graph very at the peak very
very,
soon.
very
So I think
race
that,
too.
yeah,
So let just be the monopoly on in
So-
the industry and let's consumer be the king again.
Yeah.
Let everyone do their marketing
it
right.
will be good. It will be
Consumer
good enough.
Yes.
Everyone will be happy
I
that
think
way.
once in a while it's cool, like it will be nice to go back to traditional marketing. Like it's like how fashion works, like
It's like
traditional
the
fashion
cycle
comes
back
back,
then.
right? Yeah, something like that, and you know that's what's like at the top of the mind. That would be, I think, would be a good way to go forward.
Yes.
Okay, so my next question is, what is the importance of story in building a brand? What is your brand story or any brand story that you resonate with?
I think, the brands that are closest to your heart are invariably entwined with the stories, their stories that they told you. It's not like you can separate. You don't remember a brand in isolation, right? You always remember the favorite ad, या ये हुआ था, या tagline भी थी, या ये हुआ था, या मेरे साथ ये हुआ था, with respect to that. So I think you can't. It's like body and soul. You can't have them in isolation at all.
But for me, I think it has been different. Like even before I started this program, like I was on Instagram, right? And on Instagram, I've always followed Bumble because how they promote themselves. I love their content, especially because
So
in
that's a
spite of
story.
being
They told you
yeah,
stories.
exactly. In spite of being a dating app, they focus on self-love a lot.
Yes.
Which is so unique, like such
They're
a
telling
powerful
story
part.
only,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So that's one thing I relate to,
Yeah.
and I would like to differ a bit with your opinion in the sense that I feel I can have a brand in its totality, not just one ad they're putting up or one.
No, it's not about one ad. What I meant was that when you looked at Bumble, you said that there is this messaging that you remembered and you remembered the way they were telling stories. So that is what I'm saying, that powerful stories are complementary to the brand and you can't have them in isolation. You can't remember.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I
Right,
meant.
right.
That they they complete each other.
Like it said कि brand को भी humans की तरह treat करो तो basically तुम
The
भी उसकी
personality
तरह-
and
हाँ
the
उसकी story के साथ तुम
emotions.
relate कर रहे हो उस brand की life story के साथ तुम अपनी life story relate कर रहे हो that is the reason you are connected to the
And
brand.
or I think कि the way storytelling is the way मतलब बहुत easily connect कर पाते हैं लोग.
I mean तुम ब्रांड को तुम किसी के तो तभी लेकर जाओगे और वो तभी करेगा जब तुम एक स्टोरी बताओगे उसके बारे में, राइट? नहीं तो उनको how will you reach them? And if you with your all your efforts if you are able to touch their hearts and you know create a space over there, then that's the difference between a classic brand and something that comes and goes. So it's really the storytelling that weaves that persona around the brand and what that brand stands for.
And the best thing about storytelling is it's not fixed. You can
Yeah,
evolve your story.
it evolves. It's like a
And
human.
especially during COVID, so many brands evolved their stories.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
You know, which were relatable.
Yes.
If I were told to make a brand from scratch, I would probably follow a method of storytelling which is very famous amongst the movie geek person, which is the way Quentin Tarantino follows. So he basically gives a background to that person, and he gives a solid background, like everything that has happened to him, and on that basis he writes dialogue. Because this has happened to this person in the back, this is what he's saying. The choice of words he writes, the choice of sentences he writes, and I think that is how it should be. You have to build a background, and based on that background, how you're behaving it today. So I think I'll follow that method rather than writing what I want the people to hear and then making a background. So I think this is a pretty solid way.
So you're actually right. You're expanding the story,
Yeah,
right? You're expanding. It is like journey that you're saying.
It's not only on what you're seeing.
Correct.
It's not only dialogues, but
Right.
it's based on that on the
It's not which
history.
is unsaid,
Yeah.
but there is a journey that
Definitely.
that brand has traveled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, story. It's all about powerful storytelling.
I would like what ma'am just was saying was that we connect to an ex-human being because probably the incidents or the stories the person has or probably the characteristics the person has, you relate them to the maximum, right? And that's what the brands are also been doing it. That's if you go back to your classrooms, right from the beginning, you always learn from the brands are nobody else but human beings, right? So a human being sharing his or her story, and that's how you connect to the audience.
Yeah.
So that's why the storytelling is, I think, the most important aspect.
Okay,
And it's
so
always a very challenging because in our business, those stories are hardly about maximum 30 seconds,
Yeah.
45 seconds.
Yeah.
I have a question actually for you. Do you ever feel like stories are getting
Vague.
खत्म हो रहा है?
No.
Do you ever have that feeling that इतने सारे stories बन रहे हैं, just इतने सारे stories नहीं, इतने सारे art,
Hmm.
people, the kind of, let's for example say music, the amount of music we have been producing, like, do you guys ever feel like it will soon be over, like?
See, again going back to the same thing is you need to differentiate your story vis-a-vis the other stories, right? That's how your success is all about.
I think what you're trying to say is that there's a dearth of good directors or creative people, but not of stories.
Actually, stories,
I think
stories
it's
you know,
too
tend
many
to-
stories now
See,
coming to
you
the
can-
consumer and he's getting
I think there are
Probably
various aspects
somewhere.
to the question. Like Sakit, when you talk about music, okay, now one can argue Bollywood music is rubbish. Like, let's say, okay, कि क्या पहले क्या music था, which is also an argument that a lot of people who are older than us say that अरे हमारे time में music ये होता था, अब देखो क्या बना रहे हैं, this, that and the other. But then I think another aspect is that now you have music which is not commercial music, which is much more like now you're able to, you have platforms like Spotify, you have other platforms जहाँ पे Wink, etc. जहाँ पे local players, indie players, folk players, that you're also able, you have access to that, and they have access to be able to be heard.
Yeah.
So both are true. The fact that quality in some parameters may allegedly have fallen, but there is a bigger world that is opened also. So it's the same thing with storytelling also.
And storytelling storytelling is a part and parcel of our life. Like when we were young, our dadis used to tell us stories. So somewhere or the other, we are inclined towards storytelling in some ways.
Oh, India is the land of Stories, like. Ma'am, you were saying.
Yeah, no, Saket mentioned movies. So look at the stories that are coming out in movies today. I mean, you look at not only Hollywood movies, Bollywood, even the language movies, Bengali movies, Telugu. We are watching Telugu movies and Bengali movies.
exactly.
Why? Because the story has grabbed our attention.
Correct. It's all part of the storytelling.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
I'll be asking the last question.
Oh.
I have my trust me, I am the most weak
Everyone's
person
ready
here.
to take a speech.
Yeah. Okay, so like tell me one story related to a topic of discussion, like that is your favorite and also has an impact on your life. Like could be a brand story or whatever that made you a brand, if you consider yourself brands and like anything.
It's not being made into a story, but I feel like my mother's life. As is if I were to see her from when she was, let's say, even before my age to where she is now, then I derive a lot of inspiration from that and a lot of strength from that. So yeah, her story, her life story, and like I know for a fact that there are a lot of people, a lot of DSC students, a lot of alumni who take inspiration from her life story. So yeah, I mean, there are some stories which have been told, some which have not been publicly told, and yet you can seek inspiration. So I take a lot of inspiration from that. Yeah. Sorry, no brand angle. No, I mean she also has a brand.
Yeah, she is a brand.
Does
brand in
does give
herself.
out some
Yes.
qualities.
Yeah.
So I think I have a similar thought. If I had to tell a story, I would love to share my experience. Not the story exactly, but the experiences I've had with them. I think to explain it to people how I want it out there, but people always tend to tell stories. They always say मेरे साथ ये हुआ, मेरे साथ ये हुआ, मेरे साथ ये. I want to say कि मेरे साथ ये हुआ, and it put me here. It gave me experience of this person who I am today. So I want to tell a story about experiences, not about stories. Story about stories, but about experience.
Right.
Okay, I'll just
Yeah.
simply say that my story is a little simple one. Which is, I always, like, right from my childhood in the classrooms, I always had a love of picking up the chalk. The ma'am was not there, probably write down something on the board.
वाह सर.
बचपन
से destined था सर.
है ना?
Destined था.
तो वो डेस्टिन जो था वो शायद आज अपनी जगह पे पहुंच गया है. So maybe because that writing, instead of writing it on my individual notebooks, I wanted to write it on, let the universe.
So the world can
know,
see.
So the world can
Yes.
see it up. So maybe that's what
And
has
so with
took me.
the look you have in your eyes right now, it's
Like
making me
sparkles.
very happy. I don't know. You're saying it with a lot of
Passion.
Yeah,
Passion and
definitely.
the old love which is there.
It is.
So my board and marker love.
Two things. When we were young, my uncle used to work in Smith Klein, so Horlicks is part of my childhood story, And in Bengali, you have the Arami MD Khai, and we used to get the whole thing of Horlicks. And another thing is, in our family, we are all dusty skin, but we never felt bad. We were 5 sisters and 2 brothers. We never felt bad. Though relatives used to comment on it, but my grandmother told us, you have Krishna's color. So
My
we were proud. We were proud of that. So that story really lifted our spirits.
Right, similar to ma'am, actually I was very, as a story if I would say, कि मैं बहुत conscious थी अपने skin color को लेके, and then fair and lovely ads और ये सब ads. So it actually as a whole, like मेरे भाई बहन बहुत दूर हैं, पूरे छुट्टे white. ठीक है, मैं इकलौती ऐसा हो गया हूँ. It's not an issue, but my dadi, as ma'am said, my dadi always taught me कि you have the color of the God. Why are you ashamed of yourself? Like look at Shiva, look at Krishna, look at Ram. You have the color of the God. Kali God. She used to always say that कि तुम काली माता जैसी. तो it's something like that has actually inspired me and helped me to gain my conscience and something like that.
Okay, so last my turn. So the thing is कि I have never inspired. Well, I have never been inspired by a story. ऐसा बहुत टाइम हुआ है कि कोई पार्ट्स अच्छे लगते हैं मुझे हर चीज़ के, बट ऐसा कभी मुझे अभी तक फील नहीं हुआ दैट मतलब आई मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ माई पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस इन माई लाइफ दैट वेंट थ्रू, तो उसके कारण ऐसा कुछ भी हुआ नहीं. बट द थिंग इज आई ऑलवेज फील कि आई विल बी द वन मेकिंग अ स्टोरी.
मेरी स्टोरी भी आ रही है.
Very super story.
Every day I'm working on myself because for that and nothing else. I don't want anything from them.
10 years now we are reaching.
It's like ऐसा नहीं कि social service करना है या दुनिया के लिए कुछ ऐसा करना है. It's not like that for me. But but the thing is, अपने लिए करना है, कुछ करना है. It's like that, and it's like I'll be the one who's writing that story.
We'll be showing this clip. Like उसको पता था कि उसकी life में story बन रही है.
Basically for Anjali is the inspiration.
Yes, मैं अपनी favorite हूँ.
वो अपनी मूवी में अकेली एक्टिंग कर रही है.
मैं राहुल का हीरो. Nice.
रो मत दियो.
That's just a thought. But
It's a nice thought.
It's great actually.
It's inspiring for us actually.
but it resonates how people around us influence us. It's so हाँ मतलब पिछले कुछ दिन से इसके साथ ही ऑफिस के साथ जाते हैं, घर पे भी आते हैं बस. तो मेरे को खुद में रियलाइज हो रहा है कि साथ में अगर कोई खुश रहता है तो तुम भी धीरे धीरे रहते हो कि हाँ चलो खुश रहना है, ठीक है. साथ में अगर कोई है जो मतलब थोड़ा सा कॉन्शियस होके रहता है, क्योंकि मेरे को ये रियलाइज हुआ था ये बात बहुत पहले, तो होता है ऐसा कि साथ वाला
हैप्पीनेस बाबा बनेगी.
पता चला ही होगा. अंजलि
पता चला
बढ़िया.
Okay, so that brings to the end of today's discussion. Like, it was really fun for me. So how it was?
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
very fun.
a lot of insights and everything. It was a great conversation.
Your round table was
Yeah.
very nice.
People say I talk a lot. Today I had the opportunity
Yes.
to.
Thank you,
You made
Ritika,
our
for-
heart come out.
Yeah.
For giving us the opportunity to sit at this round table
Bring out the
We would love to sit here again.
बातें करने की
If I
सुविधा.
don't get placed,
No, DSC will take care of that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I was just being sarcastic. I'm not that bad in my studies.
Oh, she's also the hero of the
अपने
टॉपर मैं भी है. तुम भी टॉपर हो. ये टॉपर नहीं है.
हाँ तो डेटा कंपैरिजन में पॉइंट अलग है.
पैरामीटर सेम नहीं.
पैरामीटर सेम नहीं है. So
अगले सेमेस्टर में और वेरिएबल्स सिखाएंगे.
Okay, I really learned a lot about this domain and as well as about everyone's perspectives, which is I think very important in going forward in this field. And to definitely going back with interesting stories and facts and whatnot, like really a bag full of emotions. And I think I'm going to remember all this for a long time. Hopefully even after 34 years. I hope you all had a nice time.
Yes.
Like Sthiti behind the camera, ma'am behind the camera. I hope you both have had a nice time.
You have your 34 hours.
And we will be back again in the next week with something different but something definitely fun. Also keep watching out this space for more and please like, share, subscribe. It would mean the world to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.